So you came out, you were what, 21?
I was 21.
21, and you're like, I need to get the fuck out of Utah?
Actually, I stayed in Utah until I was 28.
And were you out to your parents at that time?
Yes, I came out to my parents a few months after my first sexual experience, so I was 21 by a few days, actually.
Right.
And, you know, and we had sort of a separation. They kind of disowned me, and it was a whole big
Yeah, that's not sort of a separation.
Yeah.
That's like a hardcore, that's some serious shit.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. But you know, I'm thankful for the experience because it taught me how to be independent. It really kind of, you know, thrust me into the deep end of sink or swim, and
yes,
you're on your own.
Thrust you in there, it sure did.
And so, so I stayed in Utah. I actually got a business degree at University of Utah, and I was a mortgage broker.
Wow.
So I did that until I was 28, and then I moved to Vegas for about 3.5 years, and then I've been here in LA for the last 6 months.
Well, let's take a look at you back in the day. Let's go in the time machine. From your past, I'm guessing this is your time in Utah. Let's take a look.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, hey, cutie. I love your 90s style caterpillar.
Right.
There.
And I had hair, too.
You sure did. Now, what year is this?
Oh,
and were you working in AT&T? What's going on with that earpiece?
This was kind of right after the whole divorce situation with my family. So it would have been around 2003. And so, you know, 11 years ago. And I was working in mortgage, and after they disowned me, I actually had to drop out of school. I was pre-med. I dropped out of school.
Because they weren't paying for school anymore.
Right, because I had to totally get, you know, on my feet, find my own apartment, start paying for school. So then I went back, and I just went back into a business degree. And one of my friends owned a mortgage company, and he was like, hey, I'll give you a job so that you can kind of get your shit together.
Right.
So I just started as a receptionist. And I did that for a couple of months. And as I was kind of in that environment, it became obvious that I was very good at sales. And so I just kind of moved through the ranks very quickly, and kind of went through as a processor, which is kind of like a assistant sort of situation, and then into a loan officer. So that was my very first experience in that setting.
I thought you were going to say it became very clear that I was good at sex.
Well, that too.
And I needed to go into pornography. Because you have certainly changed yourself. Let's get that little before and after from back then and now.
Oh? Yeah.
Oh, look at him and look at her. Yeah, I mean, you do look Mormon on that one, but you look like the devil in the other one. This is where you started to become the engineer of the Choke Fuck Express.
Right? Yep, that picture on the left was my very first Pride in 2003.
Wow, that's cute.
I weighed a whopping 135 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you moved to Vegas, and now is it true that you were just hooking up with people and they were all like, damn, you should be a porn star? Is that how it happened?
Sort of. You know, I have had people that had told me that prior to.
Because you were just so good in bed?
Well, yes.
Because you just liked it because your sperm kept shooting 6 miles?
That's exactly what was usually the call point. No, how porn kind of all came about was I had left Utah, moved to Vegas, was kind of looking to reinvent myself a little bit. Didn't know what that meant or where it was going. I just knew I needed to change.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting in Vegas with one of my good friends, Siren Vaughn. She's a drag queen. I think she lives in Anaheim now. But anyway, we were just sitting around having cocktails, being stupid, and the conversation came up, you know, would you ever do porn? And I was, you know, half drunken, was like, oh, sure, why not? If it ever happened, I would totally do it, thinking the opportunity would never arise. So unbeknownst to me, she went out and filled out some applications.
Oh, really?
And sent them into a couple of studios. And so I don't know that any of this is going on.
Oh my God, you're still like, I'm just gonna be a mortgage broker and hang out in Vegas, no problemo, little do you know.
Right. So all of a sudden, one day I get phone calls from a couple of studios and they leave voicemails, and so I listened to the first one, and it's Jake Cruz Media. And so Jake had left a voicemail saying, hey, we got your application, we'd like to talk further. And so I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I listened to the next voicemail, and it's from Titan.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't understand. So I call Siren. I'm like, what is up with this?
How did you
know
get
anything about this?
How did you get my name?
Seriously. And so she was like, you know, I did this because we talked about it, you know, so it was kind of, it was intended to be funny, but it kind of went somewhere.
Well, certainly, I mean, she's really to thank for all of this beautiful glory I have sitting next to me.
So I went and shot with Jake Cruz, and they offered me a contract, so I was with them for a year.
And how was that first shoot? Because you're coming from Utah, you're coming from not doing porn, and suddenly there's Daddy, Jake Cruz, let's suck my fucking cock, kid. Like, how was that first shoot?
Well, he wasn't my first scene partner.
Oh, okay.
My first scene partner was Drew Cutler.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you know Drew Cutler at all or no. He's huge. His dick is big.
Oh.
Right? So he was my first scene partner. Then the next day I had a second scene partner that was Spencer Reed. Also, huge dick. So
I hope you've learned to bottom by then.
Exactly. Exactly. So anyway, on the first day, I was so nervous. I was like, you know, what do I do? How does everything happen? What if I screw up? What if I, you know, come when I'm not supposed to? And it affects everything.
Yeah.
And so Drew was actually really great. He was the best kind of person to pop my porn cherry. Because he was just like, don't worry about it, don't stress about it, you know, and kind of held my hand through the whole process, and it was really great for him.
I bet he did hold your hand. And you know what the good thing about fucking someone with a huge dick is they've had years to learn how to stick it in correctly.
Exactly.
And I know it.
Of course you do. So it was a really sort of exhilarating, almost freeing moment, because I mean, I think that being in porn and putting yourself out there in such a raw, vulnerable way is kind of, I can't think of anything that puts yourself out there more. I mean, most people are self-conscious about their bodies, about their sexual equipment, or how they perform, or whatever, and so you're taking all of this and serving it up on a silver platter.
Yeah, right out there for the world to see, very close up.
Yes, yes, and it was surreal and, you know, exciting and exhilarating and everything. And then, of course, that all came crashing down when I read the first negative review.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So you're coming from a complete blank slate, and suddenly everyone's judging your asshole and your ball size and your sucking technique.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, like I said, I read the first negative sort of review, and I wasn't prepared for it, and so it was really sort of painful. I mean, I was like, holy shit. I've since read it again, and it's hilarious to me because they're very creative. Like,
and what was it like? What was that first terrible review?
The only thing that I really vividly remember reading was that I was the poster child for fugly.
Whoa!
That's what the person said.
Ooh, bitch!
So, yeah. But, I mean, now I read it, and it makes me laugh.
I know. I mean, I've had mean comments for so many years now that now they do tickle me. I'm like, well, girl, you were really bringing it with that.
Right?
You were really trying to read. Thank you, remove, delete, block, bye. See ya. For more, hey, Qween! Check us out on theStream.tv. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Daily Motion, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And we'll just have a gay old time, right, baby?
Yes, honey.
Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Hey, Qween.